Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to the stock market update video. This is where I do technical analysis on QQQ as well as the 7 mega cap tech stocks: Tesla, Meta, Amazon, Google, Microsoft, Apple, and Nvidia. So we'll be doing all 7 of those. And let's start off with looking at the stock market QQQ. So tech has been leading the way down lately, and you can see IWM, and we're getting rotation to small caps. You can see IWM, XBI, the biotech, small cap, and the Russell 2000 are getting bids. So that's what's been happening for the past 2 weeks. And currently, let's take a look, see when are we going to get any rotations back to tech? As of now, no signs of that yet. And go to the 1 hour charts. So 1 hour chart, pretty much we had a flush this morning, came down, and we bounced. We had a nice bounce into afternoon, which was about 2.8% bounce. So it's pretty significant, but you can see bear is pretty much closed near the low of this day. So tomorrow, super key here. Today's low, if we don't break today's low tomorrow and we come back up and able to confirm a hourly uptrend breaking today's high, then we could say that this is likely a temporary bottom for now, and we might get some rotation back to the bulls, the tech bulls. But at this moment, we retraced quite a bit. It's already probably over 70% of a retracement of that bounce. Yeah, it's over 78%. So pretty much an 80% retracement already. So the most likely scenario for that then is probably an equilibrium, meaning a big move up, big move down, if we don't break this low. Given that condition is that we don't break today's low, and then we will have a tiny range, something like that. It doesn't have to be perfect like this. It just means the next move up probably won't break above this high if that equilibrium is going to form, potentially a tightening range. You could even just go like this and then decides to pull back a little bit and then go back up, or go like that, pull back a little bit, come back down. So it depends which way it ends up breaking. But let's see if it even forms an equilibrium tomorrow. First step, bulls need to bounce at least over 50% of this drop to form some kind of equilibrium. And if we break today's low, then we're looking down. Let's zoom out, see bigger term time frame. Then we're looking down pretty much at this structure now. So if we continue to crack lower, you can see where we bounced today was around this level. Let's see if we pull a volume profile. Let's see if we get any clues there. Just pull a quick one. Okay, so pretty much we came down to this value area high, which is this line. Pretty much bounce off of that today. So it just means that these are just volumes in these areas. It means that these are areas of significant volume. So that means that there are buyers or sellers in that area. And if we do come down to it, since the price is above this area, it would likely want to act as support at this moment. But if we start cracking through that, then obviously it's a red flag. So let's see if bulls can hold this structure tomorrow, which is today's low. If we do crack through today's low, then we're probably going to come down closer to these volume nodes. That'll be closer to 453 or potentially 452 levels. If we break today's low, we are a little bit oversold on the short-term time frame. So bulls may be starting to look for that bounce if we do get another. Let's say we get a gap down tomorrow, right? That's a perfect time to get into that long for that bounce, because we will likely be daily oversold. And for our oversold hourly, everything will be stacked and oversold. That's the time when you can potentially look for that bottom, try to nail the bottom after a 9% drop, right? You don't want to be nailing the bottom up here when there's a 4-hour bear flag. After a 9% drop, if we do cap down tomorrow, it's going to be over 11 or 10% drop. Then it's probably a good chance you can nail the bottom there, with given how extended we are on the downside, plus coming into a level of support. So you want to have a lot of things coinciding together with you to try to nail that bottom versus trying to nail it while it's waterfall going. Yeah, so that's either the plan. So tomorrow, if we do gap down, probably go long. A good chance if we do come down to these levels. If we do bounce tomorrow, then we're probably looking for a tightening range until bulls show us that we can get over today's high for that trend change. But for now, probably more likely a tightening range on the hourly. Yeah, you can see we kind of reject on the 4-hour to EMA 12 as well. Slightly got over here. No, it's clear for 4-hour at this moment. All right, let's take a look at the rest of the mega cap tech stocks. Give us more clues to see if these mega cap tech stocks are going to bounce. I mean, if they bounce, then QQQ are likely going to bounce, and QQQ bounce, SPY is going to bounce as well. And let's take a look. Tesla, although its holdings is not that significant in QQQ, but let's take a look. So after talked about this equilibrium last week, saying if we break bear, it's probably going to head lower, and ended up breaking bear as well. And the earnings also exacerbated that, and pretty much hit my support line. So this support line goes all the way back. Let me zoom out. It's pretty much this all-time resistance line here. Rejection, 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 rejection. Finally broke above it, and I said if we break that, go below, we're probably gonna, if we come here, we're probably gonna get at least a slight bounce before anything, which we did. We got a slight bounce here, and which makes sense, right? It's a literally we traded in this pattern for I don't even know how long. Let's just call it a year. So we finally broke above it. When we come down it, we're probably gonna get some support, at least initial bounce. No guarantee we're gonna bounce back all the way up here to 250s, but at least an initial bounce makes sense. Just to cool things off, if Barry really wants to take things lower. So similar idea with Qs. So right now, big enough bounce. It's holding a lot better than Qs. Take that back. So similar idea that we want the trend change. That's what I'm talking about. So big enough bounce. Qs pulls all the way back here, close to 70%, but Tesla pulled back only close to not even 50%. So still in bull's favor if we hold above the 50% retracement, and then we want to see if Qs bounce tomorrow, it will help Tesla a lot, and we can see if Tesla can confirm its 4-hour uptrend. If it does that, then we're probably going to come back up to test this 232 low, these lows, to see if they act as resistance. There's not a lot of volume in between here and there, so probably come up to 236 first if we can break this 228 range. All right, but if we get a red day tomorrow or gap down, then today's low is going to be very key, and we don't want to break that either. So yeah, today's low, and it's very key for actually a lot of stocks. Meta pretty much just came down to this structure right here, this one, to hold it, because after that, there's nothing really below us, and it'll be the gap, right? See no volume here either. That means that gap is there. So pretty much you can see this volume is pretty much just this structure that's left for the bulls playing defense here, and they did. So we ended up closing above it, so that's decent. You can see Meta didn't drop as hard as the Qs at the end of the day. Pretty much bounce, nice bounce, and then dropped a little bit. But Qs pretty much closed down here. Meta had a nice bounce, and relative strength pretty much. So let's see if it continues tomorrow. What we want to see is that hourly uptrend. Since this is a big enough bounce, you can see that pullback is not as much as the Qs. And let's see if it breaks today's high for that hourly uptrend to support the Qs. If we can do that, then Qs will get some support from Meta. Let's see Amazon. Amazon here came down to this structure and this structure and this structure. So we bounced from there as well, but we did not get over, we did not close over that Friday's low either. So let's see. Hourly, go to the hourly. Similar idea, big enough bounce. Didn't relative strength to Qs, I would say. Looks more like a 50% retracement to me than the Qs 80%. So if tomorrow Amazon can also confirm an hourly uptrend here, break today's high, then it was also support the Qs. So Qs may shape up for a bounce tomorrow, in my opinion, based on these two so far. So let's take a look at Google. So Google, that was the one that's dragging that Qs down. So relative weakness here. You can see after this months and months of this rising wedge, finally broke bear. Another bear flag there, and we're getting follow through from the bears, which makes sense, right? This pattern shaped up for I don't even know how many months, probably over half a year. Let's see, all the way back here, November, yeah, 7-8 months, right? 7-8 month bear break. At least we got to get some follow through, right? With market being weak as well at the same time. So perfect recipe for that follow through from the bear side. And let's take a look at, so pretty much Google closed at low of its day, right? You can see Amazon and Meta only retraced to probably like 50% of its, only to here, right? Roughly 50% of its move. And Google made a new low of the day. So Google is in team bear at this moment, but it is a little bit oversold. You can see on the top right corner here. Hourly is a bit oversold, 4 hours oversold. Daily just starting to get oversold. So let's see if bulls will show up tomorrow for that bounce. We need support from Meta and Amazon, and if we get some support there, maybe Google will get a little bit of a tiny bounce and the market will go. But red flag, closing low of his day right here for Google. Same thing. Meta is also Microsoft is also a red flag. Broke bear out of this super long-term rising wedge after, let's just call it half a year or that. Let's just call it a long time. And all right, then we break down to closing low of its day as well. So that's not a good sign. So Microsoft and Google is in team bear. We are coming into a little bit of support here. You can see right at the spot where we close was prior resistance, these levels, and now should act as support, which was also low of this structure as well, which acted as support as well. You can see bounce out there many times, bounce, 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 bounce. So let's see if bulls show up, tomorrow right at the spot, because that's pretty much where they need to bounce. Because if they don't, then probably gonna look low, closer to this lower range of here. I would say probably 410-ish. It'll be coming down to this structure here, lower end of this structure, and which is high of this structure, which is closer to this 412 level. If we don't hold today's low. Let's see on the hourly here. Double bottom. So a little bit stronger than Google, but not as strong as Meta and Amazon. So we had a tiny bit of double bottom today. Broke it by a tiny bit after hours, but yeah, no follow through. So yeah, this is the spot. Pretty much Microsoft bulls want to show up and bounce. Otherwise, we're gonna get more downside. So I would say Microsoft is team bear as well, since it closed low of its day. So 3 bears and two team bulls. Apple. Delete this real quick. Apple's looking okay, but broke bull above here, which this black line was long-term resistance bull, and it came below it. So that's a red flag. Yesterday was still good. You can see we're still holding above it for 2 days. Now we broke bear below it. And zoom into the hourly. So you can see Apple is still as a team bull because big enough bounce only retraces 50% of it. So Apple tomorrow has a chance that we can confirm the hourly uptrend, and we just need to break day's high. So Apple is similar to Amazon and Meta, where they got that space now that they can confirm the hourly uptrend. And we got to take a look to see if I should zoom out to see if any more clues on Apple. Far EME 12 rejection, but still got space. Yeah, Apple's pretty much just coming back to this structure, and we did bounce off of it slightly. You can see. Yeah, it's giving me that hourly uptrend tomorrow for more bounce on that Qs. So 3 for 3, 3 bear, 3 bulls. Let's take a look at Nvidia. Nvidia closed okay, but it's a little bit weak on the after hours for some reason. But similar idea. I would say Nvidia has enough bounce. Where it closed was good, but now we're a little bit lower. Let's take a measure it. You can see we just poked through the 50%, but it's still favoring the bulls if we don't crack through below 50%. So same thing. Nvidia can come from an hourly uptrend here. And Microsoft and Google gets a dead cat bounce, while Meta, Amazon, Apple, and Nvidia confirms the hourly uptrend. Then we'll get a decent move bounce tomorrow on the Qs, and potentially shape up a temporary bottom. So the very first step, right, for all these mega cap techs is to shape up the hourly uptrend, to see if bulls are actually being serious, just like over here, right? Big enough bounce, but no real trend change on the 4 hour. We have a slight hourly pivot right here. Hourly uptrend confirm. Kind of lacking follow through on the 4-hour and then rolled over. This is more convincing. Big enough bounce, big pullback as well. So if we do confirm hourly uptrend, then that's much more clear trend than this little small pivot trend change right there. This would be a much wider pivot, means more of a test than just this little tiny one. Even a lot more convincing for the bulls. It'll also be a 4-hour trend change as well if we do make that happen, which we never got really over here. Kind of did, but yeah, in the after hours had to pivot here. So that's super key. And if Nvidia breaks and get that 4-hour trend change, you can see that today's high was prior day's resistance, sorry, support. See, we try to help this weekly support right here in this 116 zone for many, many weeks. And we finally cracked through it today and yesterday. Big flush to here. Bounced today's high, right, rejected right there at 116. So pretty key here, today's high. So if we do crack through that 116, bounce above it, and back test active support, that is a really good sign. We may get a temporary bottom on it. And in the market as well, if that happens. And we might just form a longer term, potentially falling wedge here, if that happens. So we'll see. Right, first step, just break today's high for Nvidia. All right, that's a call for you guys. And you can see that all the currently pretty in between. We have Nvidia, Meta, Amazon, and Apple. See if they can confirm hourly uptrend. And then we have Google and Microsoft. See if we can get that dead cat bounce since they are pretty much low of the day. And what else? Yeah. Tesla also has a potential of hourly uptrend as well. So we'll see. So about like four against 3. If they can bounce, then we'll get a decent bounce at Qs. Qs will probably come back up. If they get an hourly uptrend, Qs may form that hourly equilibrium, coming back up right to potentially this level. But if Microsoft and Google ends up catching up to the bulls after the other bulls all come from hourly uptrends, then we have a good chance that Qs also may form a hourly uptrend back to bulls' favor. But now, let's burden on the bulls, see if they show up. Right now, it's still currently in full bear control. All right, I will see you guys tomorrow and on the weekend. I'll do more updates on the market and the commodities. And feel free to comment below if you guys have any questions, and if you would like, share, and subscribe if you guys learn anything. And check out the Patreon page if you guys want to support or learn more on technical analysis and how to better your trading, and how to make your own trading plan, how to stop tilting, all that kind of things, how to emotion, psychologically, and change your behaviors. All right, have a great rest of you guys' week.